Overnight session, reopen it. So, entrepreneurs with a sense of responsibility are the same. They carry immense pressure and take on great responsibility. They are not light, they are not relaxed. Behind everything you see on the surface, there is weight, there is pressure, there are decisions that cannot be avoided. And in essence, solving many real problems of a nation cannot be separated from their efforts because they are not only building companies, they are shaping systems, they are creating opportunities, and they are carrying part of the structure of society. So, this is why there is always a deep respect for truly outstanding entrepreneurs because it is not only about the ability, it is about the responsibility. And everything they do benefits many people, giving countless individuals the chance to work and support their families. And when a business is built, it is never just about profit. It becomes a network of lives, people's stability, people's livelihood, people's future, all begin to connect to it. They also contribute significant taxes, helping to strengthen the nation's economy. So the impact is not small, it spreads far beyond what is visible. And every choice they make reveals this kind of inner intention. It is not always obvious, it is hidden inside decisions. They follow laws, pay taxes honestly, and are willing to take on higher costs to ensure better quality. Because they're not only thinking about short term gain, they're thinking about what remains. They're thinking about what can true be trusted and what can last. So when facing economic crisis, they would rather bear the pressure themselves and then easily lay off employees. And this is where the virtue becomes visible, not in words, but in choices, not in comfort, but in difficulty. It is easy to speak about values when things are going well. But when pressure comes, what you protect reveals who you are. These choices may cause short term loss, but they accumulate deep virtue over time. And sometimes you lose in the short term, but something else is growing. Trust is growing, stability is growing, and something invisible is becoming stronger. And the deeper the virtue of an entrepreneur, the more the company benefits society, and the broader its path becomes. Because in the long term, a long run, it is not competition that decisions decides everything. It is structure, it is trust, it is the invisible accumulation over time. And at the beginning, excellent entrepreneurs may start with the goal of making money. This is natural, and this is where many journeys begin. But as the company develops after experiencing storms and changes, something begins to shift. Money is no longer enough, status is no longer enough, achievement is not longer enough. They begin to see that everything is transient and ever changing. And when you see that clearly, the direction changes. They begin to search for a meaning that cannot be destroyed by change, something that can remain even when everything else changes. something that is not dependent on external conditions, something that cannot be taken away. So many outstanding entrepreneurs develop a strong sense of social responsibility because at that moment, responsibility is no longer forced, it becomes natural. So to them, contributing to society is both the purpose and also the purpose of business and a natural way of living. Not something they must do, but something they cannot not to do. It becomes who they are. So actually, the highest level of building something is no longer about building something outside, but about becoming someone inside. So that is also why is it that truly lasting companies eventually become driven by values rather than profit. Of course, at the beginning, profit is necessary. It keeps the company alive. It allows growth. It gives direction in the early age. But profit alone cannot sustain something over time because profit is unstable. It changes with the market. It rises, falls with cycles, and it disappears the moment conditions change. So, if a company is built on profit, it will move wherever profit moves. It will chase short-term gains. It will just constantly without a center. And over time, it loses stability. But something changed as company goes through time. After experiencing growth, crisis, and uncertainty, it begins to see something clearly. That survival is not just about making money. It is about being trusted. It is about being consistent. It is about being relied upon. And none of these come from profit. They come from values. Because values do something profit cannot do. They give direction when there is no clear gain. They give stability when conditions are unstable. They guide decisions when the outcome is uncertain. So think about this for a moment. When a company faces a difficult decision, profit will tell you what is easy, but values will tell you what is right. Profit will push you to reduce costs, but values may tell you to protect quality. Profit may tell you to let people go, but values may tell you to hold the team together. And these moments decide the future of a company. So over time, something very quiet happens. Companies that follow only profit become fragile. They grow fast, but they break just as fast because they have no inner structure. But companies that build on values become stable. They may grow slower at times. They may sacrifice short-term gains, but something else is forming. Trust, reputation, culture, and over time, these become far more powerful than profit. Because profit can be taken away, but trust cannot be easily destroyed. Profit depends on conditions, but values create conditions. So this is where everything connects again. Integrity creates trust, trust creates connection, connection creates harmony, and harmony leads to mutual success. And the highest form of sincerity is the radiant smile of baby facing its mother. There is nothing added, nothing hidden, nothing calculated, just a pure presence. And no matter what you are doing, remember that smile, not as an idea, but as a feeling of openness, a feeling without defense, a feeling without distortion. Remember the feeling it brings. Remember the beauty you experience. Because once you truly feel that, something changes. You will hesitate to break it. You will hesitate to act against it. And at that moment, you will not bear to stain that purity and sincerity. And that is where integrity begins to hold itself. Not because of rules, not because of fair, but because you cannot go against it anymore. And this era needs this sincerity more than ever because everything is faster now, everything is louder, everything is more complex. And in all this complexity, simplicity becomes rare. Sincerity becomes rare. And with the sincerity, things can have a true beginning and a true end. Without it, morality, civilization, and order collapse. Because sincerity is what holds continuity. Without it, everything breaks in the middle. Promises break, trust breaks, and slowly structure disappears. And so many problems exist because something very simple is missing. Not technology, not intelligence, but sincerity. If sincerity becomes the norm in people's hearts, many of these problems naturally disappear. Because when sincerity is present, you don't need to be forced, you don't need to be watched, don't need to be controlled. The action aligns by itself. Hello, so many new friends here. Welcome. So without sincerity as the foundation, even the best laws cannot stop people from doing wrong. Because laws act after the action, but sincerity works before the action. It is a different layer. So one must not allow insincerity to grow, but because once it appears and once it brings benefit, it reinforces itself. It becomes easier next time, and slowly it becomes a pattern. And in the end, one must pay the price for all insincerity, not immediately, but inevitably. But because cause and effect do not disappear, they only take time. There is a saying in China, 人做天在看，天网恢恢，疏而不漏. What people do is seen by heaven. The net of heaven is vast and leaves nothing out. So this is not about fear, it is about awareness that nothing truly disappears. Everything leaves a trace. And that watching presence is not only unseen, but also the reflection of the spirit of integrity itself. It is not outside, it is inside. It is part of you that knows, that sees, and that cannot be deceived. And when you live from that place, you don't need to told what is right. You already know. Hello, welcome to our channel. Today's topic is about the wisdom from 道德经. We are talking about 道德法术士. Dao means the way. De means the virtue. 法术 about techniques and tactics and the trend and the momentum, all through Xuemo's works. And we are learning the wisdom from the Tao Te Ching, from the traditional wisdom through Xuemo's works. So we started today with the 5 dimensions, 道德法术士. It may sound like a system, it may feel like a structure, but if you walk all the way through it, you will realize something very simple. 道 gives direction, 法 gives order, 术 gives methods, 势 gives momentum. But none of them can stand alone, because what truly holds everything together is 德. Without 德, direction can become deviation. Methods can become manipulation. Power can become pressure. So 德 is the core, but the virtue is the core. And then we go one step deeper. What holds 德 itself? What makes virtue real and not just a concept? It is sincerity. Because without sincerity, 德 cannot be trusted. Without sincerity, a virtue becomes performance. And once it becomes performance, it cannot last. So everything comes back again, from system to structure to essence, and the essence is simple. Within the 5 dimensions, 德 is the core. And within 德, sincerity is the core of the core. And within the 5 dimensions, virtue is the core. And the core of a virtue is sincerity. So when sincerity is there, everything aligns. Everything stabilizes, everything can grow. And when sincerity is gone, no system can save it, no method can fix it. So in the end, what we are really practicing is not complexity, it is something very simple. To be real, to be honest, to be consistent, and to live in a way that can be trusted. So maybe after everything we shared today, you begin to see something a little differently. Not just business, not just a relationship, but even your own life. So what truly supports everything is not how much you know, it is how you live. And the ideas we shared today are drawn from the works of Xuemo. His writings are not just about ideas, they're about how to live, how to face the world, how to face people, and how to stay grounded within yourself. And if you'd like to explore more, you can find his books on Amazon or our global store, shop.xuemo.com. There are more than 80 titles. The network, it doesn't work very well. I just start back again just to say, see you next time. So see you next in the next live session. Bye for today. Thank you for your compassion.